Hello to everyone. I don't have much time, so listen carefully. I have found what is easily the most important piece of news that we've had regarding Total War Warhammer 3 so far. Like the last year, none of it matters compared to what I have found because thankfully some people in the community brought my attention to it. There have been a lot of, there's been a lot of minor news coming out, but this one is big. You know what? This doesn't feel right. Something's missing. Something... I know what it is. Hold on. Okay. Much better. So, now that I'm here, we can dive into this critical piece of information that I found that I assure you is not only going to blow you all away, but is just going to get you more hyped and excited for Total War Warhammer 3 than you can possibly imagine, because this is the biggest piece of news, and I've got to talk about it now before CA figures out that I know about it, and that they know that I know that I'm going to tell you about it, because if they know that I know that they know that I know that they know that I'm going to tell you about it, something bad may happen. So we got to get into this right now. Let's check it out. So, as you can see here, many things come out on ArtStation, which is where many of the artists who work for Creative Assembly have put their work from over the years on the various Warhammer projects. And sometimes, just sometimes, we learn little bits of information before we're supposed to, technically, because the artists will post work because something's been released, and so they show off their work on it, but it contains just a smidge of information that could be critical to us as a community. For example, this is how we learned about the Bone Giant so far in advance with the Tomb Kings, and as far as I'm concerned, is the only reason we got the Bone Giant. I don't think CA would have given it to us if we hadn't discovered it in advance. But what if I told you something like that may have happened again? Though I don't think we need to put pressure on CA in this case. I think it's something already coming, something so important that I'm having to wear this to make sure CA doesn't find out that I know about it. Otherwise they might do something about that, and I don't want them to know that I know that they know that I know that they might be up to something, because that would just ruin everything. So this is Camelia's page, or Miss Minkova. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Probably didn't, and if so I apologize. But she did a lot of amazing work, as all of the artists have for Total War Warhammer, and she actually seemed to have worked on the Kislevite bears, so she's kind of responsible for their creation, or at least had a notable hand in it. It has some beautiful art up on her page, but there's one piece in particular that I must draw attention to. So let's go to the next slide. So as you could see, I wanted to just kind of spend a moment showing off some various art off her page, which you can see how the Kislevite bears were created and a lot of the concept art that went into them. And they're beautiful and amazing, and they have so many cool details, and you can even see how there's a special bear, it seems, for the Ice Witches, or at least for Katarin, and they have such an interesting and dynamic look, and there's so many different variants. But what if I told you that one of the images has a secret? A very special secret. And that secret is down here in this bottom image. This is the most important image that has come out relating to Total War Warhammer 3. Do you see it? Do you see the truth? The greatest secret that's been revealed the entirety of the release cycle over the last year? I see it. Do you see it? No? Let me help you. If I open this image, do you see it now? Still don't see it? What about now? Yeah, now you see it. Right there. Obvious, not the bear butt. Obvious as day. Kostalton and Tsar Boris. He's right there. It's Tsar Boris. It's confirmation! Tsar Boris! Now you may look at that and go, Sotek, that's such a compressed image at this level. I can literally count the pixels, and there's not that many of them. What makes you think that's Tsar Boris? Well, let me tell you, it's not just some regular rider, because the regular riders aren't as cool as Boris. They don't get the double back feathers. They don't have the super sexy long polearm with an ice blade on the end. No, 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 no. And you may say, does that really look like Boris? Well, let me show you some pictures of Boris. Boom! There's Boris. Notice how similar it is? Boris got the double wings, man's got the double wings. Boris has got the giant halberd with a very distinct formation, especially the way it's a curved sword. He has a curved sword on the end of it. Look at that. Boom! Very majestic halberd, very royal looking, very ostentatious, with a big blade coming out of the top. It's gotta be Boris. You can even, if you count the pixels, vaguely get the impression of that opulent, beautiful mustache that Boris wore so amazingly. Just look at the man. He's a paragon of a man. He's peak man. If we look at this other image, which is a, I believe a slightly, I think it's the same model, just painted different. But here you can see it in even more detail. It's gotta be Boris. It's Boris. He's right there. It's obviously Boris. So I just want to make you all aware of it. Look, he's even got the sword on his hip in these images, and you can see the sword on his hip in this image. Yeah, he's had a bit of a glow up, but so is everything in Kislev. He's so much more colorful than Games Workshop imagined back in the early 2000s or the late 90s, whenever the hell this model came out. But this is the most important thing that we've seen. Screw Be'lakor, screw Tzeentch, screw Nurgle, ogres, don't even care. We've got Tsar Boris right there, the big man himself. Now, I hope you all made sure to put on your theory hats before we did this. Like I said, I don't want CA picking up on any of our vibes and realizing we know about this little secret. Surely he's going to be like the first free LC to come alongside something else. And let's be honest, Boris is just the most important character in Total War Warhammer 3. Not only is he the only voice that we hear in the Total War Warhammer 3 trailer, showing that he's the main character of the entire game, obviously, but he's the one who probably incited the incident. Now, was the incident that somehow has cut off demons from the realm of chaos, at least for a temporary starter point in the game, and may have led to various empires going into apocalyptic scenarios, and may usher in an end time scenario, which is an apocalypse for anyone unaware? Maybe, but the most important thing is that he's the one that seemingly pulled the trigger on that. And I'm sure it was for a really good reason, because it's Tsar Boris. He never does anything for a bad reason. That time that he charged into a chaos army by himself in the original timeline, and he killed tons and tons of guys, but because he was a little overzealous, because, you know, he's a Kislevite and he got a little ahead of himself, and Erskine, his big bear, got a little ahead of himself, they got completely surrounded, and Boris died to 1,000 cuts, even though he fought his way back to his army, and he died on friendly lines, so they were able to take his body back home. But, you know, that's minor inconveniences. The point is, Boris Ursus is alive. Boris lives! That's the truth here. And that is the most important thing. It doesn't even matter what CA shows for the rest of the year. I don't care about the release date. I don't care about the other factions. I don't care about the mechanics. I don't care about anything. I just need to know when Tsar Boris is going to be released, Creative Assembly. Maybe he's the 9th Lord. I doubt it. No, it's definitely Be'lakor. But I bet he's the 10th Lord coming to the game. He's got to be the first free DLC Lord. Because, I mean, you can't do a DLC around Boris, right? He's already kind of something we have with the whatever the hell the big guys, and not the Adamans, but whatever the big guys are called for Kislev. So you add him in as a free LC. He's a perfect fit. He's brilliant. And it's most important that he is alive and still in it. And some of you may say, Sotek, aren't you taking this a little bit far? Don't you just kind of need to accept the fact that Boris is dead and they keep saying he's dead? But I say, no, I don't have to. And you can't make me. So I'm going to sit here with my theory hat, which gives me heightened intelligence, I don't know if you can tell, and be keenly smug about the fact that I know Boris Ursus, the Red Boca, the Ratty Boca, is going to be playable in Total War Warhammer 3, and will almost assuredly be the first free LC, if not one of the first few. You know, maybe he won't come right away, because they don't want to, like, ruin such an amazing surprise. Because let's be frank, like, they might want to get something a little smaller and less important out, like the Chaos Dwarf DLC, But Tsar Boris is definitely coming, and I personally cannot wait to play as who is obviously going to be the best character. Like, can you imagine how awesome it's going to be to get to have a reunion between him and his daughter and have him ride down to Kislev so he can bitch slap Kostaltin across the face for being kind of a creepy weirdo who tried to take the cult that Boris Ursus brought back? Nobody else did. Boris did it. He brought back the cult of Ursun, which was dying off because it hadn't been popular for hundreds of years. But he brought it back because he got into a bare-fisted brawl with a fucking bear, a bear that is a demigod, I might add, Erskine, and got into a stalemate with it, which earned its favor after they killed tons and tons of wolves together. So, you know, with all that in mind, we gotta have this guy. I gotta punch Kostaltin across the face with this guy. I gotta whoop the Chaos Gods into shape with this guy. I gotta make sure that he never dies, because Boris Ursus is immortal. I'm sure that's written somewhere. I just haven't found that particular passage in the lore yet. But that's going to be all for today's video. I hope you all are having a lovely weekend. I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.